All right, everybody. It's the Working Fans Podcast, like we said. And we're going to get right into it this week. AEW Dynamite review. Let's not even do any foreplay. Let's get right to it. Dustin Rhodes, CM Punk started off this show. What did you think about this one? I love it. Two guys that can still go. And Punk the Junior here.
Dustin Rhodes has been doing this for 5 decades. Not 50 years. He's been doing it for just over 40 years. But 5 decades he's been doing this. Absolutely insane, the level that he actually maintains. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Great classic match. I think it was Brian Alvarez or somebody I heard recently that Punk's new gimmick is he's a pro wrestler. He basically comes out, he has pro wrestling matches, he works body parts, he sells, and it seems to be working for him. I enjoy it.
That's weird. That's weird because there seems to be another group that we'll be talking about very shortly that does the same thing.
We're about to get to that right now. Yeah, this was actually one of the highlights for me of the week, even though it was just a simple match that I knew the ending to, which says something. If you know the ending to the match, you still love it this much. But the Blackpool Combat Club versus Brock Anderson, Lee Moriarty, and Dante Martin. Great group of guys for the Combat Club to go against, especially Lee and Brock. I like Dante, and he really stood out here because of the flying. But I love that Brock is just that old school, just like his dad. And then you got Lee, who has like all these great technical moves himself. Fun match.
They did a great job of showing how you get somebody over in what was still basically a little bit of a squash match. But they demonstrated how to get the other team over and make them look good because they did take a little bit of offense from Brock. They did take a little bit of offense from Lee Moriarty, who they made look like a monster with his kicks and with his offense. And then they did take a little bit of the aerial from Dante. So to end, they got themselves over at the same time. Wheeler Yuta continues to actually be a driving force.
Yeah, he looked good. Also, always great to have William Regal on commentary. It's one of my favorite things every week they're doing now.
Love William Regal. When he talks about, he's like, yeah, me and Iron are very close. I have a great understanding of Iron. Helps to prepare for the match. I know everything Iron would done is literally
All right. Yeah, you broke up a little bit. That's fine. We will move on to the next one. We had a little delay, but we're good. We're good. Regal, we know what's up. You love Regal. I love Regal.
Did you hear what I said about? Yeah, but did you hear what I said about Arn Anderson?
No, and you broke up again. So let's try it one more time then.
Did you hear what I said about Arn Anderson?
No.
So Arn Anderson, I just said William Regal, one of my favorite parts of his commentary, was saying, I'm very close with Arn Anderson. I know what Iron would do in a match, and Brock is literally doing the same thing. So it helped us to prepare for Brock.
Absolutely, absolutely. He also had to comment, too, that Iron and I hung out somewhere one time. I think my liver is wherever that place was he mentioned, yes. Yeah, Flair probably was there, too. Wardlow versus the Butcher. This is great. Let's go back and beginning here a little bit too, where Wardlow gets in the building. I feel we have to talk about this. Mark Sterling basically is great here in his role as the slimy attorney. They're putting the cuffs on him, and the eat shit pig whole thing.
How good is Mark Sterling?
He's fantastic. I love him in the role. He's good at getting heel heat.
This isn't our first exposure to Mark Sterling. Obviously, we've seen him on the Independent, seen him in Beyond, stuff like that. But he continues to shine. That's he is just absolutely fantastic.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I think he is fantastic. And something else too, I have to say is I thought the Butcher and some of the promos leading up to this, he showed a lot of potential too. Ultimately, this was a showcase for Wardlow, and he delivered. And what I've noticed and is interesting about Wardlow is it's kind of like that powerbomb symphony is over just as much as he is. They're looking forward to the power bombs. They love it. Yeah, we'll see what happens as this continues on, but I can't wait. And next week we get Lance Archer. Wardlow was successful here. What do you think of this match overall? And I got to think we're going to enjoy this ride here.
I like it. I think that Wardlow did a great job of still getting the Butcher over, even though it was obviously to get Wardlow over. The Butcher did still look like a badass. He just looked like Wardlow looked like more of a badass.
I agree. And yeah, we'll see what happens next week with Archer. I thought Jake the Snake was actually on his way to cutting one of his better promos in a while, and I don't know if he was about to stumble, but then Archer came in and just basically said, "I don't need your money."
No, threw the money down, said, "I just want to kick Wardlow's ass."
Right. So we then went on to Jungle Boy and Kyle O'Reilly. Great matchup. Me and you talked about this. I saw your TikTok review too on this. I know we were both talking about how Jungle Boy has been built up a little better, and it was kind of a little mini upset here because of the way things have been going. But like I told you, like in the Road to series, they made it a point to mention Jungle Boy had gotten the win here. And let's be honest, Kyle O'Reilly, before, if we're not counting AEW, he was the bigger single star, right? He had some success as Ring of Honor World Champion, and he had some moments in NXT as well at main events. So I think that in retrospect, it's just nice to see that AEW is going to push O'Reilly in this tournament. I thought it was a good showcase. If anything, I thought the crowd wasn't as hot as I hoped, and maybe the styles didn't completely mesh, but I thought it was a solid match overall, and I'm happy to see O'Reilly advance.
I really enjoyed that match. Obviously, you saw the video that I put out. I thought Kyle O'Reilly and Jungle Boy, they kept the theme of the night going, which was great matches. That's the third match in a row, which really delivered, and I thought that they did an excellent job with it.
I agree. Eddie Kingston vowed to whoop Daniel Garcia's ass on Friday night at Rampage.
Tell me you're not looking forward to that tonight.
I'm very much looking forward to that. Then we had Hook in action, making his Dynamite debut. He beat over Anthony Henry, solid independent star, but this was a showcase for Hook. And then we had, I see you smiling, Danhausen shows up, and since you can't put a curse on him, he seems to be immune, and how about you fight Danhausen? To which Hook looks like, are you kidding me? And basically, like, I'm going to kill you. And then we have a little stare off. So it looks like we're setting up a Danhausen Hook.
Danhausen looked like he regretted that the moment Hook was like, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah. This is now. I was kind of wondering if they'd team up together a little bit at some point, and maybe we do get that. But yeah, I don't know.
Hook is definitely over as a babyface. I love the fact that they're not bringing him out with Taz, because he is way too over as a babyface to be a part of that group.
I agree. All right, let's get to the next segment here. Sammy Guevara and Ty Conte with an interview. All right, we're not hiding. These people are heels now. They basically said that for the people who cheered me, thank you, but for the people who booed me, why? Because my girlfriend's hotter than you.
Turn heel, not on accident.
No, not at all. Now, what's interesting is that Scorpio Sky, who, by the way, came out, we didn't mention this, came out here before this and asked Frankie Kazarian, who is a babyface, and Sky's still technically the heel, but he said, hey, is it all right if I get my title shot first? We go way back. And usually babyface would probably be like, no. But Frankie Kazarian's like, I'm loyal. I got your back. Sure. And we can do this afterwards. I thought it was more interesting. I think
America's Top Team is turning face.
I do think that's happening too. So anyway, yes, getting back to this now, Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. Ethan Page cuts a fiery, I thought, babyface promo here.
Well, remember, he got stitches all up on the top of his eye from the fight this last week.
And these people are cheering Dan Lambert too now. Dan Lambert was a heel in this crowd, and he's getting over the babyface.
Dan Lambert has turned into that grandfather that you just find hysterical because he's going to talk about stuff that you shouldn't, and he just says whatever he thinks. That's Dan Lambert.
I The only thing I would say about this interview was a little confusing was that they kind of just threw that ladder match out there real quick. Like that was really like kind of like after the right. Like so, it's Scorpio Sky and
Does Sammy only wrestle ladder matches now?
Yeah, like for like his big feuds always seem to be like in a ladder match. And then they said we want that, but we want the mixed tag match too. Which they said you got it. Which we know is probably Paige Van Sant, but that was never mentioned either. So I thought this felt a little rushed at the end.
It definitely was. It felt a little rushed, and it would have been one of the worst promos of the night, just due to the fact of how rushed it was. If we didn't get the promo we get later,
which I know we're coming to that right now. Britt Baker versus Dr. Britt Baker versus Daniel Camella. Okay match for what it was. Britt clearly the huge over babyface. Daniel Camella playing the heel like she knew she would.
Nothing wrong with the match. Nothing wrong with the setup for the match. All of that was great.
Yes. And then she gets the win, gets the pass. I'm forgetting the gentleman's name. Some of the people from the Pittsburgh Steelers were there, though.
Yeah, 2 of the Steelers. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, they tossed her the glove. She tapped her out. She gets the victory. And then she cuts a little promo here. And I'll let you take over. What do you think of this promo?
It's not too often you see somebody blown up during a promo. That's congratulations, Britt, especially for being as in shape as she is to be blown up during a promo. I have to assume it's because of the emotions of being in front of her family and crowd with her parents there. Maybe she got a little emotional, but she was completely blown up from it. She says, "Oh, they're just glad to have me back because I cut the best promo in the women's division." Well, not tonight, hon. Tonight you cut about the choppiest and worst promo that I saw on the show. So kudos to you, DMD.
Maybe she was just a little, after the match, right? Maybe she just, she hasn't wrestled in a few weeks. So, yeah.
She definitely came across as blown up.
Yeah. She did have a little comment, someone here. I don't remember what it was. But apparently she took a dig at Tony Storm for the cake thing, the cake to the face. From Charlotte.
Yeah, she did. She took a shot at Tony Storm, said, "Hey, if you think that the cake thing was bad after we wrestle, you're going to quit another federation."
Okay. She's good with that. You got to give it to her.
No, that was a good line. And that one line was fantastic, but the rest of it was pretty much crap.
So then we go to the main event. Darby Allin versus Andrade, Coffin match. And I have to say, because of the size Andrade's put on, it's really interesting to style these two when they wrestle now, because it really looks like Lex Luger throwing around Billy Kidman or something. Like, it's just, it's not what I would have thought about it maybe a couple years ago.
So the match itself was good. I enjoyed the match. I thought that they put on a hell of a show.
Like a car crash.
Yeah, for a car crash, it was good. It was what it was supposed to be. However, the end is just ridiculous. First of all, Jose takes off his shirt, and he's a giant of a man when he takes his shirt off. Yeah. And freaking Darby just tosses him to the side. Then you've got Andrade, who is just pushed into the casket, and then he just shuts the lid. You're telling me this guy who looks like Hulk Hogan, fully juiced to the gills in the 80s, can't prevent himself from having a cardboard lid shut on him by a man who's maybe 130 pounds.
Yeah, I can agree. It was a little flat of an ending.
I like Darby. I'm a fan of Darby. And there are ways that you could have made this more realistic. You could have hit him with God knows what. You could have done the coffin drop onto him into the coffin, something of that nature. But he literally just shoved him into the coffin and shut the lid.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. So I don't know. This whole thing, one thing about this episode of Dynamite, as much as I enjoyed it, it felt a little rushed at times.
The first hour was much better than the second hour.
It felt rushed. Like Excalibur had to do that like read too for like next week's show. And it was like 11, 12 different things between next week's show, Rampage, and that's still coming up. It was incredible. We haven't even talked about the big news. No, we'll get to that in a second, but I was about to address this too. So Randy, thank you for bringing up Sting going crazy again. It's amazing. There's this part of this match where Sting is draped over the barrier and he's about to take a chair shot. And I'm looking not as a former wrestler. I'm just looking at him going, he's draped over the barrier. How does he take that bump? Like when they get, like, you can't throw his hand up, and he's not going to even be able to take a flat bump and maybe even miss it. Like he has to just absorb this blow.
Yeah, I'm looking at it as a former wrestler and going, wow, how's he going to take this?
Yeah, just take it apparently, and then he's going to nose sell it.
Yeah, we're looking at it the same way. But remember, I wrestled when I was in my 20s. Sting is 63.
Right. And what do we do after this? We do what we've been doing lately. We just dive off another balcony.
And why? Oh, one more thing. Why are the Hardys there?
Yeah. Oh, you mean why weren't they until the very end, right?
I mean, at the end, why do they come out just to dance? What is the point of that?
Yeah, right. They couldn't show up in the middle of the match where everybody was fighting and everything like that. Yeah, I didn't get that either.
No, they come out at the end to dance and delete people.
Yeah. Now, my episode of Dynamite, for whatever, did the very end recorded after the match. So I didn't see that, but I found out about that afterward, and I thought that was interesting too. Like, why? Because there was still 2 minutes left, and I'm like, did I miss anything? I also thought the Hardys showed up apparently.
I mean, maybe they'll do a heel turn on Darby and Sting at some point and delete, but. Right now, pointless.
Yeah. Well, like you said, 63-year-old Sting, though, he's coming up as a big MVP, continues to kill it. I will give the credit to the people he's worked with so far. We've seen plenty of people miss dives over the years and not catch them. Everybody's been there on point with Sting.
Well, you have to. Otherwise, he's going to join Scott Hall as another 63-year-old dead guy.
Yeah, it won't be good. So the big news, obviously, no matches announced for it yet, but Forbidden Door, the pay-per-view with New Japan.
There is one match announced. What are you talking about? There's no matches announced.
I actually meant to correct you on this. So that match is tonight. That's Adam Cole versus, that's on Rampage tonight.
Didn't that sound like it was on the show coming up with him and Ishii?
Ishii, I believe it is on tonight.
Wow.
We will take a look here.
No, I believe you. I just thought that he had said that was going to be a match for that night.
We will find out. New Japan star returns to face former WWE star tonight. Yep. So it looks like we got Ishii. It is a Rampage match. I'm getting it from producer Joe as well. So
I believe you guys. To me, that's just a match that you should have on that pay-per-view.
Well,
that's a huge match.
Yeah, well, hey, we're making Rampage must see, baby. Wow. And hey, we didn't watch the spoiler because he did not know that, and I didn't read it either. So,
thank God it's back to the regular time slot, so maybe they'll get a couple 100,000 more viewers.
We shall see. I'm excited. We got Ishii versus Cole tonight. You got Garcia versus Kingston. And
there's another match.
Jade Cargill
and Maria Shafir we're gonna finally get.
Finally happened. All right, so since we haven't seen the spoilers clearly because you didn't know that was a match tonight, let's pick some results here before we get to our top 5 of the week. Those 3 matches: Kingston Garcia.
I think Kingston goes over, and he's gonna beat the living hell out of Garcia because they said nobody else is allowed in the building.
Oh, good point. All right. We'll save the women's match for last. Ishii versus Cole. I'm going to go with Cole. Won't be shocked if Ishii wins. Every time he shows up and we think that for another promotion, Ishii's one of those guys that New Japan seems to protect.
I think Cole wins, and I think there's a good chance we'll see Switchblade tonight.
Good point. Okay. Here's the match we're most interested in, actually, which I can't believe we're saying, but we are. Jade Cargill versus Maria Shafir. Who you got?
So here's the thing about this match, and I will pick a winner real quick, but they've done a good job of building it up because they have made it so that we are looking forward to this match. If this was just a match on any other Rampage, would we be looking forward to it this much? And good point, Randy Osgood. Chris Jericho's on his Fozzy tour, so he definitely probably won't be there. But I am actually going to go, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, I'm going to go with Maria Shafir. I think she's going to pull the big show.
Yeah, we talked about this. Well, fair.
You actually swung me. You have me thinking that she might pull a SummerSlam Big Show against Brock and freaking
Survivor Series. But yes.
Survivor Series, sorry.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, I'll make this quick. So Survivor Series, basically from many years ago, Big Show had been jobbed out, but they were trying to build him up again. But he was taking on Brock Lesnar, heavyweight championship, and we all thought Brock would just beat him. And then, for whatever reason, Paul Heyman turned on Brock and helped Big Show get the win. And that's what we're thinking may happen here. We're wondering, Mark Sterling's been setting up little hints like he respects Maria Shafir. He's a little fearful of her. And we've been hitting, too, that Jay Cargill's been kind of making little face moves here and there. And she always sounds like Mark. She's like, shut up, Mark, and then cut the shit, Mark. So it feels like that relationship, there's been seeds set for that to break up.
I think Mark Sterling stays the heel with Maria Shafir, and I think Jade Cargill's turning face.
I agree.
With her baddie section.
I think that would be a crazy.
By the way, Britt Baker, a heel, also took a shot at the baddie section last night, which also leads me to believe they could be going face.
That's true. Because Red Velvet's in that tournament as well, right? So that could set a match. All right. So a lot of reasons here. This is kind of something me and AJ talked about. I was telling him about it, but I said, I don't know. But I said this was an idea.
Yeah,
apparently, I told him. So I'll sell myself, and I'll agree. We'll put this out in the universe, and we'll see what happens tonight. For all we know, it already did happen. We don't know. But
we might be the only ones who don't know.
Yeah, we didn't read the forward. So right now, something might
be. If you do know, do not put it.
You guys know their shit.
If you do know, do not put it in the comments because do not spoil it for us.
Yeah. So, all right, let's get to our top 5 of the week, and we'll finish up. All right. So for me, I got the Forbidden Door announcement. Sting, Blackpool Combat Club, Punk and Dustin. You can tie Wardlow with that. This is all AEW, folks. And the announcement for me of Dax Harwood versus Cash Wheeler in the Owen Hart tournament next week. Dax Harwood, they're both big Hart Foundation fans, but Dax Harwood is like the biggest Bret Hart fan in the world, too.
Oh, yeah.
So to me, like, this is a great chance. I think they're going to put Dax over. I think he gets the win, but this is awesome to see what happens here.
I have one different one than you. I don't have Sting in mine. They're starting to scare me with Sting. So he's not in mine. Roxy,
yes.
Roxanne Perez debuting for NXT was a highlight for me. She is fantastic. People forget how young she is. Absolutely incredible athlete, and she was fantastic.
All right, AJ, we got one question for you. Are you watching the Tyson Fury fight this weekend? I don't think you will have time.
I will not have time. Those in the know that I am going to be on a ship to a place called the Bahamas. So I will not. But I am looking forward to tomorrow night. I am looking forward to the pay-per-view.
I will. Oh, yeah. You'll be stopping off in Poughkeepsie.
Yeah.
And, okay. So since somebody brought up a boxing thing, I'll ask you one non-related wrestling-related question. Did you see what happened with Mike Tyson yesterday?
Mike Tyson on a plane?
Yes. Did you see this?
The most deadliest thing to snakes on a plane, Mike Tyson on a plane?
So for those who don't know, this guy was harassing Mike Tyson on a plane.
Which seems like a good idea. In a confined space, giving Mike Tyson a hard time seems like a good idea.
Yep, and kind of fanboy. And then eventually, I read this somewhere on MMA Junkie, I believe. Apparently, he threw a water bottle at Mike Tyson, too. That was the final thing he did. And at that point,
I don't blame Mike Tyson in this one. You throw a water bottle at me on a plane, you're going to get punched in the face.
Yes, and now they attended to this guy. Both of these people they attended to. Only one of them probably needed attention. And the guy had non-life-threatening injuries, which tells me Mike didn't even like he couldn't.
Yeah, Mike wasn't trying to hurt him if he had non-life-threatening injuries.
Right. He wanted to give him a couple hands. And to quote Ice-T on Twitter, who had said something, this basically happens because motherfuckers think they're not going to get punched in the face anymore. Yeah. And there's a few times that's going to happen.
Yeah, I like that from Cage My IQ. Yeah. Tyson was being very tame too, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. He could have killed this guy. So
that's by the way, Mike Tyson obviously very emotionally upset about it, as pictures of him partying with Ric Flair were out on Instagram yesterday. So he very, very much took it to heart and clearly very upset.
Hey, I'm sure he's going to bounce back just fine. We love you, Mike. All right, folks. AJ's got a vacation he's got to get ready for, so we're going to head out of here. It's the work.
I won't be here next week, but please tune in. Dave and producer Joe will take you home and rock and roll, and they will have a rock solid show, and then I'll be back the week after.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We're out.